Imagine a classroom where silence is a prison, where one girl's whispered pain erupts into a heart-stopping rebellion that shatters her tormentors and exposes. A town's darkest secrets buckle up for a pulse-pounding saga of courage and betrayal. That'll leave you speechless. And if you're not subscribed, smash that button now to witness Mia Larson's transformation from invisible to unstoppable. In the flickering fluorescent haze of Westbridge High's English classroom, 16-year-old Mia Larson sits in the back row, her nose buried in a tattered copy of Jane Eyre. Its pages worn thin from nights spent escaping into Bronte's world of quiet defiance. Westbridge, a small Ohio town where gossip is currency and power is inherited, is no place for girls like Mio girls with thrift store hoodies. Hazel eyes that see too much and voices so soft they're mistaken for weakness. Her life is a tapestry of absences. Her father, a drifter who left when she was 6, slamming the door so hard it still echoes in her dreams. Her mother, Carla, who works double shifts at the Greasy Spoon diner, her hands chapped from endless dishwashing. And Mia's own presence, so faint, she's practically a ghost. She's invisible, except to the trio who've made her their target, Kaylee Summers, the golden-haired queen bee whose charm masks a viper's bite, Derek Holt, her linebacker boyfriend whose fists are as quick as his smirk, and Tara Mills, the nervous follower who echoes Kaylee's cruelty with a shaky laugh. For nearly a year, they've hounded Mio, stealing her backpack, spilling her lunch tray, scrawling "Mute Mia" across her locker in red marker that smells like acetone and hate. Their taunts are a ritual, each one carving deeper. Nobody. Once you hear Kaylee sneers in the halls, "Freak," Derek mutters, shoving her into a wall. Loser Tara giggles, filming it for snaps. Mia endures, her silence, a shield forged from necessity, not fear. She's not passive, though alone in her cramped bedroom. Under the flicker of her mother's ancient laptop, she studies self-defense videos, her body memorizing jabs and blocks as her mind buries pain. She practices in the dark, her shadow dancing on peeling wallpaper, telling herself it's just preparation, not a vow. But deep down, a spark smolders, waiting for the right gust to ignite. Today in Mr. Hensley's English class, as he drones about Bronte's themes of rebellion, the air grows thick with tension. It starts. Smaller, crumpled paper ball smacks Mia's cheek. Kaylee's voice slicing through the room like a blade. "What's wrong, Mute? Too scared to cry?" The class of 22 juniors snickers, their eyes darting between Mia and the trio. Mr. Hensley, a balding man with a permanent frown and a spine like wet cardboard, fumbles with his notes, pretending not to see. Mia's fingers tighten on her book, her knuckles white, her pulse a quiet drumbeat. She swallowed worse. Memory of her father's last words, "You're better off without me," her mother's exhausted sighs.
Yes.
The ache of eating alone in the cafeteria while laughter rings around her, but today something shifts. The spark catches. Derek, sensing the room's attention like a shark smells blood, struts to her desk, his 6-foot frame casting a shadow that swallows her. "Speak, freak," he growls, then grabs her throat, his fingers squeezing just enough to make her gasp. The classroom frees, shares creak, breaths catch, Tara's giggle falters, and Kaylee's smirk gleams like polished glass. Mr. Hensley stammers. "Derek, that's enough." But his voice is a whisper against the storm. Mia's vision blurs, her heart pounding like a war drum, but instead of fear, a fire roars to life. Years of suppressed rage, every stolen notebook, every cruel laugh. Every night spent wondering why she wasn't enough erupt in a single moment. In one fluid motion, honed by countless hours of practice, Mia seizes Derek's wrist, twists it backward with a sickening pop, and sends him crashing into a desk, papers scattering like startled birds. The class gasps, a collective intake of breath. Kaylee lunges, her manicured nails flashing, but Mia's ready. She sidesteps, grabs Kaylee's arm, and bends it back until the girl shrieks, dropping to her knees in a tangle of blonde hair in humiliation. Tara, paralyzed, her phone trembling in her hand, doesn't move. Mia stands tall, her voice low but steady. cutting through the silence. Touch me again, and I'll break more than your wrists. The room is a graveyard, the air thick with shock, and something else saw, maybe fear. Mr. Hensley, red-faced and useless, shouts for order, but the damage is done. By second period, the stories of wildfire phones buzz with texts, whispers race through Westbridge High's cinderblock halls. Mute Mia snapped. She took, "Down, Derek!" Kaylee was crying. Mia's no longer invisible. She's a legend, a ghost-turned avenger in a single heartbeat. But legends breed chaos, and Westbridge is a town that punishes those who disrupt its order. Kaylee's parents, Thomas and Evelyn Summers, are town royalty. Thomas, a councilman with a smile like a used car salesman, and Evelyn, a PTA queen who wields her influence like a scepter. They storm Principal Carver's office, demanding Mia's expulsion, their voices dripping with entitlement. Derek, his wrist in a brace, glares from the sidelines, his football buddies muttering about payback. Tara, desperate to stay in Kaylee's orbit, floods social media with lies, posting edited clips that paint Mia as a violent lunatic, hashtags like #PsychoMia trending among the clique. Principal Carver, a wiry man with a comb-over and a knack for avoiding conflict,
summons Mia to his office.
The air heavy with the stench of stale coffee and cowardice. "Apologize to Kaylee and Derek, or you're suspended," he says, his pen tapping a nervous rhythm on his desk. Mia, her chin high, her eyes like tempered steel, replies, "I'm not sorry." Her defiance is a spark in a powder keg, and Carver's threat of a week's suspension hangs over her like a storm cloud. But cracks are forming in Westbridge's facade. Eli Carter, a lanky junior with wire-rimmed glasses and a sketchbook full of secret drawings, many of Mia, captured in moments of quiet strengths, slips her a note in the hall. "You're not the villain. Don't let them win, Ms. Rachel." Carter, the young English teacher who sees her own past in Mia's fire, pulls her aside after class, her voice low. "You're brave, but be smart. They'll come for you harder now." Even some classmates, once complicit in their silence, start to shift Jake. A shy band kid nods to her in the cafeteria. Sarah, a freshman with Mia's old haunted look, lingers near her locker, eyes wide with something like hope. At home, Carla, her face lined with exhaustion but fierce with love, hugs Mia tightly, her diner uniform smelling of grease and resolve. "You're my warrior, baby," she says, her voice heavy with the weight of her own battles. But this town doesn't forgive girls who fight back. Mia nods, her mother's words sinking deep, knowing the fight's only begun. Kaylee, humiliated and dethroned, isn't one to slink away. She orchestrates a vicious counterstrike, rallying Derek and a handful of loyalist football players, with more brawn than brains, cheerleaders who thrive on her approval, to ambush Mia in the school parking lot after hours. They plan to record it, edit the footage to frame Mia, and ruin her for good. But Mia's been preparing, not just physically, but mentally. She studied strategy, replayed every taunt in her mind, turned her anger into a blade honed sharp. She's also not alone anymore. Eli, who's been trailing her out of quiet worry, spots the group gathering and warns her. When the ambush comes, under the flickering glow of a streetlight, Mia's a force of nature. She dodges Derek's clumsy swing, disarms Kaylee's attempt to claw her face, sends a linebacker sprawling with a precise kick to his knee. The group scatters, their phones useless against her speed. Eli, hidden behind a car, captures the truth on his phone, and when the video hits the school's group chat at 9:17 p.m., it's Kaylee's cruelty, not Mia's, that's laid bare. The clip goes viral, 1,200 shares by morning, parents flooding school board meetings with outrage, demanding accountability for the bullies who've ruled Westbridge High for years. Derek's suspended, his college scouts pulling back, their emails curt. Tara, cracking under the pressure of her own guilt, confesses 2 months of orchestrated harassment, betraying Kaylee to save herself. Carver, cornered by a furious PTA, issues a grudging public apology, his voice shaking on the school's intercom. But then, the first twist hits like a sucker punch. An anonymous letter arrives at Mia's house, slipped under the door at 2 a.m., typed in stark black ink on crisp. White paper. You think you've won, but you've only started a war. The words chill Hercules, too vain for anonymity, Derek too reckless, Tara too spineless. Someone else is watching, someone with patience and power. Mia's gut churns as she notices new signs. Her locker's lock tampered with, the combination. Changed overnight, her gym bag slashed, her sneakers missing. Shadow lingering too long in the hall, gone when she turns. She confides in Eli, who's become her quiet anchor. His sketchbook now filled with bold images of her strength, Mia dodging a punch. Mia standing over Kaylee, Mia staring down Carver. He admits his own secret. He's been bullied too, not by Kaylee's crew, but by older kids who targeted his art, smashing his pencils, tearing his sketches. I hid, he says, his voice low, but you didn't. Their bond deepens, a fragile trust forming. Together, they dig, combing through Tara's old group chats, school records, even Kaylee's public Instagram for clues. They uncover a chilling truth. Kaylee's father, Thomas Summers, has been pulling strings, bribing Carver with donations to keep Kaylee untouchable. The letter they suspect is from someone in his circle, maybe his aide. A cold-eyed man named Victor who's always at town meetings watching from the back. The tension spikes when Carla is suddenly fired from the diner, the owner mumbling about budget cuts, but avoiding her eyes. Carla, furious, reveals she's been collecting evidence of Westbridge's corruption receipts from shady deals. Overheard conversations about rigged contracts, hoping to protect Mia if the town turned on her. They're scared of you, Carla says, her voice a mix of pride and fear, but that makes them dangerous. The stakes soar. This isn't just about schoolyard bullies anymore. It's about a town's rotten core, a network of power that crushes anyone who dares rise. Mia, Eli, and Miss Carter form an unlikely alliance, meeting in secret at the town library. Poring over public records, Ms. Carter, risking her tenure, uncovers bank statements linking Carver to Thomas Summers. Eli, who's taught himself basic coding, hacks into Tara's old group chat backups, finding deleted messages that hint at a larger plan to frame Mia for vandalism, a fire in the school's art room, blamed on her. The second twist hits at a school assembly meant to address bullying. Kaylee, ever the performer, takes the stage, her arm in a dramatic sling, tears streaming as she claims she's the victim of Mia's unprovoked attack. The crowd, parents, students even, some teachers sways, murmurs of sympathy rising. Mia, standing at the back, feels the room turn against her, her legend twisting into a curse. Then, the auditorium's projector flickers. And Eli's video, the unedited parking lot footage, plays on the massive screen, showing Kaylee's ambush, Derek's swing, Mia's defense. The crowd erupts, parents shouting, students cheering. Mia's name. Kaylee flees, her mascara-streaked face a mask of rage, but the victory is short-lived. That night, another letter arrives. You can't hide forever. Mia's hands shake as she reads it, the paper identical to the first. The threats escalate. Carla's car tires are slashed, the diner's windows smashed, the police dismissing it as kids. Mia's club, now a dozen girls strong, becomes her sanctuary. She starts a self-defense group, meeting in the gym. After hours, teaching Sarah, the freshman with the haunted eyes, and others to stand tall, to block, to strike. Eli joins, sketching their moves, his art now posters for their cause. Pinned up in the halls, Ms. Carter slips Mia college brochures, whispering of scholarships for girls who fight. Carla, rehired after public outcry, teaches Mia old boxing. Moves from her youth, their laughter a rare light in their tiny living room. But the third twist is a gut wrench. At the club's first public demo, a fundraiser for a women's shelter, a fire breaks out in the gym, like the flames licking the bleachers, deliberate and precise. No one's hurt, but the message is clear. Someone. Once Mia silenced. The letters stop, replaced by a single word carved into her locker: run. Mia doesn't. She trains harder, her club a fortress, her allies, her strength. She confronts Carver, presenting Ms. Carter's evidence of his corruption, a flash drive with bank records. Emails, proof of Summers' bribes. Carver resigns. His exit quiet but seismic, the town council scrambling to save face. The town shifts. Sarah stands up to her bullies, flipping one into a lunch table. Eli's art wins a county award. His sketches of Mia's club displayed at the library. Miss Carter's nominated for Teacher of the Year, her speech praising students who dare. Mia, once invisible, is a beacon, her club growing to 20. Their punches echoing like a heartbeat. But the war's not over. Thomas Summers, humiliated by Carver's fall, steps back, but Victor, his aide, is spotted at the school's edge, his eyes cold. Kaylee, exiled but not gone, posts cryptic threats. Online, some fires burn slow. Mia knows they're watching, waiting. At night, she reads Jane Eyre, Carla's hand in hers, and thinks of Sarah. Of the girls in her club, of every quiet kid who's ever been underestimated. She's not just fighting for herself anymore, she's fighting for them, for a town that might one day forgive girls who roar. Mia's ready, her silence now a weapon, her spark ablaze, her legend only beginning.